All right, guys, we're back here on Southeastern 16. Max Barr joins Monday. SEC basketball power rankings.
Here we go.
And yeah, a lot to discuss. We are presented by FanDuel. Of course, let's tell you about our friends at GameTime Sidekicks, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. Every SEC school, over 350 more universities as well. Stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, shaker cups. You know the spill by now. The greatest cups in the world. GameTime Sidekicks, SE16 for 20% off over at GameTimeSidekicks.com. All right. Yes, Sam knocking us for being a couple minutes late. It's because we have to now, believe it or not, as part of our membership, we somehow decided we're going to let Sam and others vote on power rankings. So we're 3 minutes late, 2 minutes late, Sam, because we are adding your votes into our power rankings. So that's why. And we'll see what we came up with in terms of our rankings this week. Very interesting 1 through 16, I'm guessing. I don't have the list in front of me. Max has compiled the numbers. But yes, Max. Power rankings are here. Everybody's ready in the chat. Our new members that are MVPs, our legends. A lot of you people have upgraded so far. So we do appreciate that as we introduce the new membership tiers. And before we jump into everything, I am going to drop the link again in the chat. Some of you may be tired about hearing about the membership. Guess what? We don't care because we're providing a lot of bonus content to our members now. Remember, our new 3 tiers, supporter, MVP, legends. Click on that link right there. It'll tell you all you need to know. Weekly bonus content now coming for our MVPs and legends. So, and you can join us for a show. A topic of your choosing if you become a legend, like Sam Smith, Mother Carol, and One Feisty Tiger. Already joining in on the group. Max, are you ready? Maui, Players Era, all kinds of stuff today.
This is when the season starts to turn, Blake. We take a little step up. The temperature's right here. We turn the temperature up about 10 degrees here. Feast week, baby. This is when the college basketball really starts to hit the mainstream. Past few weeks, there's been a good game or two a week, but this week, and the energy just picks up a little bit. I'm ready to rock and roll, Blake.
All right. Yes, Alan. Sam did become a legend, and when is he on the show? Remember, you only get to watch the show Sam is on if you are an MVP or higher as a member. So it is not for public consumption, the show that Sam will be on. And yes, Sam, we will have to wait and see if Chris Lee will clear your topic. We will ask him about it based on your suggestion. So, all right.
Ready to go?
You ready? Let's go.
All right. For the first time in, I think, Southeastern 16 history, we have Mississippi State coming in at number 16. Thursday night saw a tough 98-77 defeat to a sneaky good Kansas State team. And Chris Jan said in that locker room after, guys, as bad as you feel right now, you better pick yourselves up by the bootstraps because you're going to feel even worse if you lose tomorrow night against New Mexico. And man, it came by 80-78, tight one. Brutal loss, brutal week. And now Mississippi State sits here 2-3 with only wins over North Alabama and Sela.
Yeah, like you said, I didn't think we'd be putting them here at any point probably this season, but here they are, 2-3. Yeah, coming off a disappointing loss to New Mexico. And on Friday, big game. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that. How many games into the season? 7 games in against SMU at home. A significant game now for the Bulldogs, I think, because that will be the kind of win I think that'll help you on your resume come March. And yeah, I don't know beyond that. So we'll find out all about how you respond. We've said that about a lot of teams so far in this league, Max. All about how Mississippi State responds here. But so far, I mean, Josh Hubbard, Jaden Epps, good job. And then just, beyond that, I just think they're searching for some answers right now. So.
Yep, Josh Hubbard right now, career low, not by much, but career low offensive rating. Man, he needs a little bit of help around him. All right, moving on up, number 15, Texas A&M. It's not another team that you thought you were going to see. The Aggies coming here at 15, still not healthy. They do come off of a decent week. They played Montana, and not the best game, but came away with a win and then drop a season-high 109 on a really poor Manhattan team. But Coming up for Texas A&M on Tuesday is the worst team in all of college basketball, Mississippi Valley State, and then get into some bigger games where we hopefully get a healthy A&M team against some quad one opponents.
Yep. And Baco watch continues. And yeah, Pop Isaacs was out the last game. So although Baco played 3 or 4 minutes, but I mean we're still kind of on. Like we're still on the watch though. Like he's not all the way back yet. So we'll see. I think again, schedule picks up starting on Friday for Texas A&M. So we'll see. All right, next. 14.
All right, moving up slowly but surely are the Gamecocks coming in at 14. The Gamecocks come off of a 2-loss week. Not ideal, however, the way that the analytics work, you don't move back at all because there's a 5-point loss to a good Butler team who Butler had a great week, by the way. Butler's looking pretty good this year. They might be a tournament team. And then just yesterday on Sunday, had a chance at the end there to beat Northwestern, but can't get it done on the final possession. Can't get the stop against Northwestern to send it into overtime, and Northwestern wins 79-77. Not bad results. You don't get the win, but South Carolina doesn't look too bad, Blake.
No, I think they continue to, look better in my eyes. Like I believe that, and you're not going to feel great, like we said, about having back-to-back losses, and we mentioned the importance of those games just based on their non-conference schedule, and you're probably going to go into SEC play just needing a lot of wins. Even if they beat Virginia Tech, at Clemson would be a significant win, but that's probably the only one they have left right on their schedule, non-conference wide, is at Clemson. So that's your best opportunity to go into conference play with something significant on your resume, I think. Not winning one of these, you got a little more work to do. But I think the way they're playing, like they're going to win some games in SEC play. I truly believe that. And yeah, it stings a little bit to come up short in those two games just based on the way they played out. But nonetheless, I think this is a South Carolina team that, showed some fight. They were down, 12 with, I think, 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, something like that. So I think there is more upside, clearly. And we just have to see how it can it turn into more wins? That's the question, right?
Right. But not looking bad. This is a top 100 team. They came into the season floating right around there and whatever analytics site you looked at, but firmly now inside the top 90, and I don't think they move back. So on the rise. Not sure if they're going to make the tournament based on the analytics, but on the rise. Coming in at number 13, we've got the Sooners. Sooners had a quiet week, played Oral Roberts and Alcorn State, about 20-point wins in each. Not too impressive, but nothing really to move them back much. You finally get Jadon Jones healthy. Jeff Nwankwo finally made a 3, but still, Nwankwo supposed to be one of the better shooters on this team at 2-18. Oklahoma got some good pieces, go through good stretches, but you listen to Porter Moser, and he's not content with where his squad's at right now. Yeah,
I'm like, man, they just have got nothing to go on right now. I mean, they've beaten 4 bad teams, and I don't have a great read on them. I know they lost the Nebraska game, an NBA game, 105-99. Lost by 15 at the Zags, but, once again, I mean, they were down 20 plus, 24, something like that in that game. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you could even make an argument that Oklahoma should be a spot lower, although I'm pretty sure in my rankings this is the order I had. But I think you could make that argument because I just don't think there's a lot to go on with this team right now. But I say that Friday, things pick up again. It's kind of like Friday is the day things pick up for a lot of these teams in this range. Marquette, and then off from there with some. I mean, that at Wake Forest game looks really tough right now. So, yeah, they've got some tough ones coming up. So
they have to get better at defending the 3 ball. Right now, sitting right around 300th in the country. Last year, their 3-point defense was their best stat, out of every defensive stat. The number one thing they were good at on defense was 3-point percentage defense. They were 17th in the country last year. That was the one thing that they could hang their hat on, that perimeter defense. Right now, allowing teams to shoot 37% from three. Holy smokes, that's not going to get it done. Moser's got to tighten up this defense. All right, moving up to number 12, we have the Longhorns, who, again, you don't have much to go on. You have the opening game against Duke, where they looked good for 20 minutes, didn't look so good for the next 20 minutes, and now you've played 3 straight teams who are all in the bottom 35 of the nation. Not a ton to go on. It looks like maybe Simeon Wilcher's taken over the point responsibilities, splitting them with Pope. But I mean, we haven't really had much to go on here for almost 3 weeks now, Blake.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about Texas. Where do you rank this team? I have no idea. I mean, they've played absolutely nobody to this point. In fairness to those teams, it's just they've won the way they should win, and sometimes I think that accounts for something. But I can't form a full opinion on Texas 5 games in, because the only real true thing I've seen from them is play Duke. They lost by 15, but you know what? A lot of teams lose to Duke by 15. And so they start Maui today. Well, tonight. They're going to go Maui tonight. It's whatever time that game will tip off. It'll probably be after midnight Eastern is my guess. So they're a 7.5 point favorite against Arizona State. Should win this one. Texas has a chance to win the Maui Invitational. If they do, they're going to keep moving up. But I will start having an opinion on Texas tonight. It's Arizona State.
If you haven't watched Arizona State yet, they play 3 guys over 6'11". They go 6'11", 6'11", 7'1" at their 3-4-5. Very unique. Hasn't really worked that well, but weird build there for Arizona State if you're up late, want some late night hoops tonight. All right.
Shout out. Big Gator EJ has now upgraded his membership. I'm fairly certain. Now, again, Big Gator EJ does not tell us on the fly what you've upgraded to. However, I trust that I think... Where were you at, Big Gator EJ? Let me try to make a prediction on this.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me, but you can tell everyone else what you upgraded to on your membership. Lots of bonus content coming Big Gator EJ's way. So,
Sam says, welcome to the club. Welcome in. Welcome to the club.
Outstanding.
All right, moving up to number 11, we have LSU. LSU comes off of a 2-game week. Alcorn State 107-81, and the Markel Sutton revenge game against his old school in Omaha, 99-73 win on Friday night. And now LSU has a few days off, well, pretty much a week, full 7 days off, and they get Drake on Friday. But LSU, the best team they've played so far was Tarleton in the opener, 194th in the analytics. So again, have looked good, have not had a hiccup, which is more than most teams can say, but still not a top 100 opponent, no quad 1 opponent yet for LSU.
By the way, Big Gator EJ has become a legend here at the channel. So Big Gator EJ will be joining us for a special reviews show at some point here in the next couple months, month and a half, maybe.
There we go.
The backlog filling up with our legends right now. All right. Yeah, LSU, I think they've been impressive. They do kind of pass the eye test a bit so far. And that's where we have to, we're splitting hairs here, but we have to pick apart your competition right now. Like we said, some of these teams are playing teams that just, are just so outmatched that you just don't really have a shot. But LSU's played some teams that, again, I think will win some games this year in their respective conferences. And so I think that's what's been impressive. And like we mentioned the other day, I mean, they're right up there. I don't remember where they're at now, but they were top 10 in the nation in scoring. So, yeah, much better offensive profile this year. And, very winnable games, I think, coming up on their schedule. And, yeah, I'm intrigued by this LSU team, man. I think they've got the pieces roster-wise, I think, to really outperform expectations. So
I said one of my bold predictions, one of our bold predictions in the preseason was LSU tournament team. LSU will be dancing. We said that. And I think the main difference right now, the one thing that has put this team from, I think they've got a better roster. They got a good point guard, maybe around the bubble too. I think this team's a single-digit seed, and they're going to be a tough team to beat. Markel Sutton last year at Omaha was an absolute monster, but he only shot 28% from 3. On the year, he was 28 for 100. Didn't even average a 3 a game. Right now, he's 12 of 32, just under 38%. He's already almost got half of his makes from last year. The Markel Sutton improvement on the perimeter has allowed this team to play Pablo Tamba at the same time, and they're just destroying teams physically while not sacrificing the perimeter offense. He really got something here.
Tell you who else has got something, Max. Shane, also now a legend. Shane has joined the Legends tier. So Shane will be picking a topic, getting to discuss it with us on a show here in the next few months. Yeah, well, I'm like, listen, guys, we can't probably do 5 of these this month, so we're gonna have to schedule these out. That's why we put the limit in there of like 1 member per month. But I said for the early adopters of this, we're gonna try to do as many as we can early. That way, you guys, to show our appreciation to you. But yeah, I'm starting to think, hey, once we get to the new year, we are gonna have to stick to our 1 member topic selection per month because you guys are all in on the Legends tier right now, just as we're all in on the LSU Tigers at number 11. Here we go. Number 10.
Moving into the top 10, we've got
Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs. The Bulldogs of Georgia. They were up by double digits in the first half against Clemson in the Fighting Brad Brownells, but the second half goes the way of Clemson. They send it into OT, and the Tigers beat the Bulldogs by 3 points in overtime yesterday. That was after a Friday 1-point win against Xavier. Almost blew it. They were up by 14 with about 15, 16 minutes left, and Xavier comes storming back. It was a heck of a weekend for the Bulldogs. A little bit of a heart rate increaser for the Bulldogs fans, but you would have liked to get the Clemson win, but still, Blake, I mean, it was an overtime 3-point loss. You're not going to knock them too much.
No, you're not. I think, though, if you do want to pick an argument against them, they played 3 teams that, I think are somewhat close in range to their talent level, right? Georgia Tech, Xavier, Clemson. And every one of those games has just been an absolute nail-biter. So Clemson, I think, is clearly the best of that group. But, yeah, it was a nail-biter against Georgia Tech, 92-87. Xavier, 78-77, hang on there. So I think it's a team that's still figuring some things out, especially when you get into these kind of close games. Because let's call it what it is. They didn't have any close games before November 14th. They just blowing out everybody. So I think, these games I feel like they will benefit from long term. Because we said they got a pretty tough one coming up next Tuesday in the ACC Challenge at Florida State. So, yeah, they'll learn from this, but I still pretty high on the Bulldogs right now.
Yeah, got a season high 26 from Wilkinson. He's really coming on strong. Cannon Catching's a little bit worried about him. He hasn't been eye testing very well for me lately, but still, Dogs have a ton of big men to fill in his shoes if he doesn't really pan out. But we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. Moving up into the top 10 now. Into number 9, we have Ole Miss. Ole Miss, undefeated. They sit 35th, though, in KenPom after they started the year 24th. So we have a 5-0 Rebel squad. However, not 5-0 against the analytical projections. Have actually moved back 11 spots. They're coming off of a Tuesday game against Austin Peay, a good Austin Peay squad. Not a bad Austin Peay squad, but only win by 7 when they were projected to win by a lot more, and it cost them a few ranks in the analytics, Blake.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think this is a bad spot to be in. I don't think you should be that upset if you're an Ole Miss fan and you see them here at 9. Like we said, they're another one. I had this as my, and I wrote this last week. I had this as my number 5 game, their game against Iowa tomorrow, on my top 5 Feast Week games. But, man, the more I just write the next sentence and the next sentence, I'm like, why is it at 5? It should be like 2 or 3 maybe. This game's going to be outstanding. You're telling me we got Elias versus Bennett Sturts. You're telling me we got Ben McCollum versus Chris Beard. It's going to be an outstanding game. And like we said, schedule picks up considerably for Ole Miss now, over the next couple of weeks. And so they will have their chance to make moves one way or the other starting tomorrow.
Yeah, after Iowa, you've got a lot to learn about the Rebels. But so good. So far, so good. All right, now, Blake, moving into the top
boy.
8 here.
Is this who I think it is?
It is.
Oh, boy.
It is.
Here we
Coming
go.
off of a tough week, the Cats of Kentucky come in at number 8 on Tuesday. They faced the Fighting Tom Izzos in New York. 83-66 for Sparty. They did turn around and beat up on Loyola Maryland at home on Friday. But the Cats have now faced 2 top teams, and it has been a big disappointment in both. Still no news on the future of Jalen Lowe. If he's going to even play, what that decision will be. Has not been the ideal start for Mark Pope and company, Blake.
Our MVPs were not very high on the Cats this week. I will tell you that as part of our members' vote. The composite vote there was not high on the Cats, but in all honesty, we also moved the Cats down quite a few spots because, like we said, I mean, it feels like a century ago, but that Michigan State game was last week, and I don't know that a 88-46 win over Loyola Maryland really will change a lot of opinions on that. I do think, Max, I sent you the text, I think, as the game was going on, and I said, Max, are we back? And when I said that, I was saying, is Kentucky back because of their starting lineup? I said, here we go. This is the 5 that we pretty much threw out there heading into that game. We're like, I think this is the most effective group of 5 now. Opponent matters, but I do believe that maybe there's a little something there you can take away. If you're Kentucky, you at least like the response. But the fact is, did not play well for a very large stretch against Louisville, did not play well against Michigan State, and those are the 2 games of significance so far. So yes, I think just the overall kind of picture for where they're at right now, who cares where you are in the November 24th power rankings? You care where you are, come March. And they got time to figure it out. And for as down as I was on them last week and many others were, this is their chance to prove it. And they will get their chance to prove it starting next Tuesday when they play North Carolina.
Yep, definitely liked the direction of the starting lineup. Didn't have Mo D, sat him with the ankle. Nothing to be worried about there, though. I'm loving the rebounding from the guards. I mean, Loyola Maryland, an easy team to rebound on, but I liked the effort from everybody. That was just like an effort game. Always defense was improved. Aberdeen's rebounding, getting in there, using his size at 6'5", 200. Everything you're supposed to do against Loyola Maryland, but you needed to see that bounce back. So I hope and pray this is the lowest that Kentucky is this year, because if it gets any lower than this,
worse. We're gonna have a lot of things to talk about, but it may not be in terms of on the court. So yeah.
So yeah, hopefully only but up from here.
No.
All right, and this is quite fitting, wouldn't you know? They shake out this way.
I know who this is going to be. Of course it is.
The Hogs come in at 7. The Hogs come in after, wouldn't you know, an inconsistent week. Tuesday, a 1-point nightmare win against a good Winthrop team. Let's not get it twisted. A good Winthrop team, but holy smokes, that was nightmare fuel. And then Friday, bounced back with a drilling of a poor Jackson State team. And now you're looking at the number 1 analytical team in pretty much every website in Duke, and then a top 10 team in Louisville as well. Huge week for the Hogs. A lot to be excited about.
That was the FanDuel lock of the day, the rock lock of the day, Max. I said Jackson State. I had no idea why that line was under 30. But yeah, 115-61. But as we said, the game before that, they hold on against Winthrop to win by a point. But I think, listen, and I know people in the chat are railing on Arkansas right now. But my thing is, like, if you are comparing teams, Arkansas has a 3-point true road loss at Michigan State, and they've won their other games, and so I don't know how I can penalize them too much for that. And, of course, this isn't a 1-to-1 ranking. You're not just ranking Arkansas against Kentucky, but the way the overall numbers shake out, like, I'm not surprised that for this week they are ahead for that reason. But, like we said, they're going to play Duke on Thursday. We'll see. You can say anything you want about Arkansas here on Monday. We are going to know a lot about Arkansas on Thursday, because that, on paper, I think is not a great matchup for Arkansas against Duke. And I know you could say that about a lot of teams, but specifically with some of the things that Arkansas has struggled with, I think Duke would absolutely take advantage of. So we'll share some thoughts on that in our preview for that game. But yeah, I think for now, it's hard to penalize Arkansas for winning close games, even against teams that you feel like they should have beat by more, because it all kind of eventually equals out when you have just the drubbings they've given the other teams, plus had every chance to win at Michigan State and just had a couple plays down the stretch that just didn't go their way.
Yeah, on Torvik, when you factor out all the preseason stuff and you just get the data from games that have been played, Arkansas's defense so far through 6 games, 83rd nationally. That was not the expectation. The defense has got to get better if they're going to beat a team like Duke. Duke right now 3rd nationally in offensive efficiency, 2nd in 2-point percentage. They're just absolutely humming. Haven't skipped a beat from last year at all. So that defense has got to improve. It's got to improve fast.
All right. Actually, let's get to 6 then before
6.
We'll do some sponsors before.
Sponsors right now or
no, we'll do 6, and then before we get to top 5, we'll do our sponsors.
All right, at number 6 and sitting right now 6-0. How do you like that, Blake? We've got Missouri and Dennis Gates at 33rd in KenPom right now. They're coming off of a week where they beat up on Prairie View A&M and South Dakota. That's obviously 2 games after the really nice Minnesota win after a slow start in that first half. A little bit of everything this week. Had some Jacob Cruz, had some Jaden Stone. We saw a Norboateng. Missouri's getting healthy. Missouri's winning games. Here in the top 6 of our power rankings.
Look, Missouri's a team you can absolutely, if you want, you can say, well, how do you put them here? They've not really played anybody. Minnesota, like we mentioned, is just not I don't think going to wind up being a great team. They'll get there under Nico Medved. I just don't know if that'll happen this season. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to win their next 2 games. Missouri will probably considerably. It just going to be blowouts. They should be. South Carolina State and Cleveland State. And then, their first real test, which if you even, I don't know, Max, I mean, Notre Dame's 4-1 and are clearly improved, I think. They had a 1-point loss at Ohio State. That's going to be your first big test of the season before you get Kansas the following Sunday. So it's like, I can't penalize Missouri too much for just going out and handling their business, because they've done that in pretty much every single game. The SEMO game was close, that week 1, but other than that, they've just taken it to teams, and so yeah.
Give Sean Phillips another game, get him healthy, get Sean Phillips back. Wait till the Trents are back. Man, this team's gonna be humming. Just can't wait until this team has both Trent Burns and Trent Pierce to add into this front court. I mean, they're waiting on some 20, 30 minutes a game here in the front court. So Missouri's going to be moving up. You know who is moving up?
I do. And we're going to tell people who's moving up right after we tell you about our friends at the Yearly Company.
Yes.
Nashville-based fine jewelry brand, built on tradition, designed for meaning. Every one of those pieces, solid 14-karat gold, just like our chat. Every single person in the chat, solid 14-karat gold, in my opinion. Backed by a lifetime guarantee, of course. And, yeah, every Yearly Company bangle, custom size. So knowing the size is the most important step before you order. So if you're out there getting ready to do some holiday shopping, all that, go ahead and get that free size and get 100% off at checkout. 100% off at checkout. Use our code SE16KIT. SE16KIT. Search for the Yearly Co. Yearly Co. That's all you got to search for. You'll find them, the Yearly Company. Great people there. All right, ROKFORM as well. ROKFORM.com, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. Extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting. You should be able to say that. Like, someone just walks up to you in the street and say, how you doing? You just go straight into saying, you know what? ROKFORM.
Yep.
Super strong magnets. Like, just go into the actual read, and they will appreciate it. And they'll also appreciate 25% off over at ROKFORM. SEC25, 25% off over at our friends at ROKFORM, which, by the way, we've extended our fine sponsorship with ROKFORM, so you're going to be seeing even more of them here for the months to come on the channel. We appreciate everyone at ROKFORM for their support of Southeastern 16. All right, top 5. Moving on up. This team is really making some moves.
They are, and they could have been higher if it wasn't for one or two possessions. Tigers of Auburn.
Oh.
Jackson State 112-66 on Wednesday, and that's coming after the Sunday 1-point loss against Houston. Great effort in that game. Nice effort against Jackson State. We got a report that Keyshawn Hall could play tonight against Oregon. Not likely, but is not out of the picture yet. Keyshawn Hall ahead of schedule. Auburn, things are clicking. Tahad Pettiford is still not playing like the Tahad Pettiford we expected. Not worried about him. He's going to start making shots, but man, Elijah Freeman's been better than we expected. Sebastian Williams-Adams has been better than we expected. Keshawn Murphy's getting that knee healthy. Here comes Auburn.
Quickly, to circle back, Justin, if you want to read about Jacob Cruz, I did have a little section on him in my column from last week. We had plenty to say about Jacob Cruz, and we said that after the game last week. You know we love our guy, Jacob Cruz, there at Missouri. Of course, the Auburn Tigers, a tremendous response from game one. They have looked fantastic, and yeah, like you said, the Keyshawn Hall thing is something to keep an eye on. They obviously have a pretty big week this week when you look at the schedule. And, oh, by the way, they got a pretty big week next week, too. Auburn's going to play one of the toughest schedules in the country over the next 2 weeks. So, yes, this will definitely be the separation. We will see if Auburn wins a good chunk of these games. Good chance Auburn may be number one soon enough back in the rankings, because what a gauntlet they're going to play over the next couple of weeks. And, of course, you can go beyond that. 2 weeks after, they're going to play Purdue. Before Christmas. So, like what I've seen from the Tigers, we mentioned it. I just think they've responded very well. They've got a lot of guys who are stepping up right now. And, yes, once they get Keyshawn Hall back, Tigers going to be in great shape. And I know Jacob asked earlier, what do we got to do to get an Auburn prediction video around this place? You didn't give us anything for the Houston game, you bums. Jacob didn't call us bums, but he's thinking in his head. Don't worry. Jacob, turn on your notifications. I'm going to assume you already got them on, because we do have an Auburn-Michigan preview coming tomorrow. So, look, we have to pick our spots, guys. We've told you we have a bit more on our plate this year football-wise, helping out those guys, with production stuff and everything. So you just got to bear with us in non-conference. There's just too many games. We're not going to be able to get to all of them. We kind of have to pick and choose the ones that we see have the most interest from our audience, the higher-profile type games, and not that we have anything against Auburn, Oregon today, but we probably have more interest in Auburn, Michigan tomorrow, so we will hit on that one for the Tigers. So, unless Auburn loses by 20 tonight, Jacob, then we may not be doing that one.
I was just going to say, we have Auburn top 5 right now, but my gut has been very accurate in picks so far this year. Very accurate. I don't know why, but it's been on point, and I'm worried about tonight. 4.5-point favorite against Nate Biddle, Jackson Selstad, and Dana Altman.
I don't like it.
Why are we doubting Dana Altman? Who's letting Dana Altman get the underdog card here? I don't like it one bit. I'm a little bit nervous. Feel like we're overlooking a great coach with a good center and a good point guard. That's not ideal. Why are we overlooking them?
Well, this comment. By the way, I hate that I can't just call people's names here and I have to say the username. This is ridiculous. What are we doing here, YouTube? Come on. I know. I can't. There's no one I've seen so far that enjoys this swap. It says lose by 20 tonight and then beat Michigan by 20 tomorrow. Sounds about right, honestly. Well, It all evens out if you do that. So,
we're gonna go back to that comment. I bet that happens. Watch that come to fruition.
Alan, you're asking for our predictions for Alabama and Gonzaga. We've already recorded that this morning. It'll be up right after Power Rings. We were going to put it up before, but we just ran out of available space to do that. So,
yeah. All right, moving to the top 4. Who do you think is going to be at 4? Who do you think is going to be at 3? This
okay.
Could be interesting. This could be interesting.
I realize who we're at. Okay, so yeah, I don't know who 4 and 3 are going to be.
At 4, we have Tennessee. Tennessee comes in at number 4. Tennessee played 2 games this past week. They played a Monday game against Rice, where they won about 25, and then a Thursday game against Tennessee State, where they beat them up on 30, 89-60. So still the best team that Tennessee has played was that opening game. 197th in KenPom is Mercer. Now Rutgers tonight is 126th and I believe Tennessee's about minus 1,000 on the money line. And then things really pick up. So it's been in wait-and-see mode, but it's about to be C mode.
Yeah, we will have our preview for Tennessee-Houston as well. That is a game of interest, I would say. Yes, Tennessee should take care of business today against Rutgers. This is how you know it's feast week. A little noon basketball. Oh, man, is there anything more beautiful than that? I don't know. If Tennessee and Houston were playing at noon, I'm not sure. But, yeah, Tennessee should win. The Estrella, we're still on JP Estrella watch. Yeah, and I know Sam's giving us the intel. Not going to play this week. I think that's the expectation. But, yeah, JP Estrella is that guy for the Vols, and so they need him back very soon. And, yeah, getting him back next week would be crucial because, remember, they do have Illinois at the end of next week, and they go to Syracuse on Tuesday, which, I don't think it's going to just be a pushover. So, big stretch coming up for the Vols here in the next several games.
We're now 5 or 6 games into the season, and the player analytic data is starting to stack up a little bit. And you guys know KenPom does their top 10 player of the year rankings throughout the year. And there's a lot of good players in college basketball this year. A lot of good young freshmen. Nate Ament is currently, analytically, number 3 in KenPom's player of the year. Not the SEC, the whole country. Nate Ament is number 3 in the whole country right now, playing out of his mind. If you haven't watched him, put on some lunchtime basketball today. All right. Top 3 for the first time, I think, in the history of Southeastern 16's college basketball power rankings. For the first time,
I think so.
The Commodores are top 3. Blake, take it away.
Well, Max, I would like to let you know the number 1 scoring team in the country right now is the Vanderbilt Commodores, currently averaging 103 points per game. They have eclipsed McNeese, who I assume took a bit of a step back here recently. I don't know. We'll have to look it up. But McNeese was number 1, I'm pretty sure. They only scored 98 against our first president of the United States and George Washington. So, GW putting up a fight just like he did back in the day to fight for America. George Washington holds McNeese to 92. But, yeah, the Commodores just continue wheeling and dealing out there, scoring points up plenty. And I know their schedule has not been the best either. But like we said, that UCF game on the road, they scored 105, won that one. We've seen UCF now, beat Texas A&M. They beat Pitt. So I classify that as a pretty solid win for the Commodores. And this is another one where it's just the eye test. You got to watch them play. And I said it last week, Max, I don't love the early tip at the Battle for Atlantis on Wednesday against Western Kentucky. I realize it's not the Western Kentucky of old, but they are 4-0. They're the best turnover percentage offense in the country. They don't turn the ball over. They don't beat themselves, but they are also one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the land. I think Vandy should take care of their business. And then beyond that, man, don't look now. I'm not going to say it. But they got some pretty tough games coming up. Maybe a little more so than we thought a couple weeks ago. Road trips at Memphis and Wake Forest coming up in mid-December.
People saying Vandy have been a surprise. Must not have been tuning in the summer. Must not have been tuning in. And also, I mean, hey, I'm gonna stick up for the Commodores here. Vandy hasn't played anyone yet. They played UCF, who beat up on Texas A&M and just beat up on Pitt. I mean, they're not a great team, but they're not a bad team. And Vandy dropped 105 on them. I mean, hey, you gotta give credit where it's due right now. If you drop all preseason expectation, all preseason data on Torvik, and you just have data from the games that are played, Vanderbilt right now is 4th in the nation, number 4. Like, this ain't changing.
I mean, yeah, like you can look at their non-conference strength of schedule, and so far, it's not been great. But guess what? It's been better still than probably like at least a handful of SEC teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, this is where, again, I don't think you just go on the analytics here. You have to watch. And if you watch them play, it's very clear. I don't care if they're playing UCF or Arkansas Pine Bluff. They are running their stuff, and they got guys who are executing to the best possible degree right now. And they have the depth, I think. And look, well, I'm not saying they're going to go unbeaten in SEC play or anything, but you just gotta watch this team play. Like, do yourselves a favor. You're gonna get to see them this week, okay? It is feast week. They will be on ESPN on Wednesday. Now, I say that they're probably gonna come out and go 2 of 43 from 3, and everybody's gonna say, "What are you talking about, guys?" But so far, so good. And this is a ranking before they play their next game. So if they get beat on Wednesday, don't blame us.
Blame us.
Well, maybe blame us.
All right. Top 2. You ready?
I can't imagine this change, but I've been surprised before.
You have been surprised before, and you will be surprised again some other day. That is not today. Florida is number 2.
What a setup.
Florida, number 2, coming off of a 1-game week against Merrimack. Poor Merrimack, 80-45, drilling. Florida bounces back after, well, not even bounces back, just continues moving forward. Right now, number 5 in the analytics in KenPom after they dropped back to number 10 against the close game against Florida State. So nice result against Miami. You beat the analytical projection against Merrimack. You're liking what you're seeing. Alex Condon is playing like a player of the year. What are you going to say?
Well, you know what I'm going to say. Last week in my basket under review column, I said the Gators are going to be fine. One of the reasons why is Xavier Lee cannot shoot this percentage the rest of the season.
Right.
And then he proceeded to come out and really struggle. I'm just like, and I know it's like, why are we focused on the negative? I don't even think it's like that. It's just, it's like, he can't shoot like this the rest of the season. He's 6 of 38. Like, this is the ultimate, in my opinion, it's like the ultimate shooter's, like, slump here. And, like, this is to an extreme, I know. But, like, once that guy makes a couple shots in a row, does this thing turn? It's got to turn a little bit, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's the one thing. Because, like, we're not even looking at it for Florida in the short term right now. Like, we know what they look like so far. We know what's ahead. They're going to play, Duke next week. That's one of the biggest games of the non-conference in college basketball, period. But I've got to think that once he makes a couple shots, man, this thing turns a little bit. But I also am wondering, this guard depth, I don't know. Is that going to wind up being the story? Their front court's so good, but I'm just TBD on these other things. As a team, they're still only shooting 25.7% from 3. So these are things we want to see improve, but it's hard to pick on Florida too much at this point when their only loss is by 6 to Arizona.
I think Isaiah Brown might be that development in the backcourt on the wing. 19 minutes against Miami, 17 minutes against Merrimack, hit 2 threes against Merrimack. He's been getting in, he gets it in the stat sheet everywhere. A little bit of rebounds, a little bit of steals, a little bit of assists, just getting in there. I know the staff likes him, but talking to Neil Blackman in the offseason, the thing with Isaiah Brown is he can shoot, he can score, can he defend? So if he's able to increase his defense, he might be a nice offensive spark there at 6'4". You might be able to play some 3-guard lineups like last year. It's tough to do that with Irby, Xavier, and Boogie. You're going 6'1", 6'3", 6'4", pretty small. So Xavier Brown or Isaiah Brown at 6'4", it might be able to open up some things for this backcourt that they haven't been able to do the first few games. But yeah, I mean, you're shooting 20% from Boogie. He did make 2 threes last game, but 20 for Boogie, 15 for Lee. Man, gotta finish higher than that, right? There's no way.
Yeah, if it all comes together, and I'm not saying it will perfectly the way it did last year, but if it does, look out. But just right now, that's the thing, is this something that's just going to be the talking point all season, or is this just kind of one of those slumps that's going to happen? It's wild that it's happened this way so far, and then once they figure it out, does everything just kind of turn for Florida? So,
thing I will say is they got Duke coming up, and I do think that this is a Florida team that matches up well with Duke. You can throw a lot of bodies at Boozer. You can give Boozer a look he has not seen yet. You can match the depth when Duke brings in Malik Brown. You can bring in Micah. You can rotate the guy in Ngogba. You can throw Rubin at him. So it's a rare team for Duke where Duke's not going to have a major physical advantage. I think it's a decent matchup for Florida. You're going to need good guard play, though.
Play TCU on Thursday. Of course, Thanksgiving. Big Gator EJ in San Diego. That is a Thanksgiving treat
Oh
for
my
Big
gosh.
Gator EJ, now a legend here at the channel. And then they'll play Providence or Wisconsin on Friday. So I would hope Florida's coming out of that 2-0. That should be the hope. All right. Number one.
For a few weeks now, Blake, the Alabama Crimson Tide have looked like the best team in the league, and you can't really have an argument about it. I went to MSG and beat a rocking crowd behind the St. John's, and then they have the poor, not poor, but disappointing result against Purdue, where they still looked good. Wasn't a bad eye test. And then we both thought that Illinois was one of the best teams in the country, still probably do. And Alabama goes and grabs that one in a semi away. Keaton Bristow, welcome to the league. Alabama, number one team in the SEC right now. And I really won't accept an argument. I think they've looked the best.
Yeah, I don't know how you could argue for anyone else at this point. I think it's clearly Alabama. Like you said, I mean, they have 2 outstanding wins to this point. Their only loss is a 7-point home loss to Purdue, where, yes, they got dominated on the boards and still had a chance to win. So now they're going to play the Zags tonight. We have our preview/prediction video coming up after this. We did Alabama a favor. Congratulations, Big Baller Brett. I think the Tide at number one, and I don't have a lot more to add other than the fact that it's just like, if you watched Alabama play, how are we picking on them to this point, other than, like I said, rebounding consistency, something to watch. They're offensively, man, they are going to be just continue to be so smooth. And like we said, the volume of threes, just the barrage that comes at you with this team. What Amari Allen has done, Bristow's done, there's just a lot to like about the Tide.
Yeah, you could have multiple NBA players here for Alabama, and maybe even some that we didn't expect. I wouldn't be shocked to see some Taylor Bowen or Keaton Bristow NBA shouts at the end of the year, just given their size at 6'10", 200 pounds, how versatile they are. Those are guys you want to have on a basketball team. Not saying they're going to be like top picks, but I could totally see us next year and be like, hey, this is an Alabama team that just lost. They've got 3 guys from last year's squad in the NBA right now. Talking about this squad right here. Just next level talent.
Shout out to T-Rob in the chat. I haven't seen T-Rob in a while. T-Rob's here to talk about the Tide. Nothing but the Tide.
Still no Bethea.
So no Bethea. He'll be back at some point.
Yep.
Apologies to teams that are going to be playing the Tide. But, yeah, I think it's just, I feel like they're Big Gator EJ. I had this game tonight with the Zags, again, ranked at number 1 on my Feast Week SEC basketball game rankings. I just think it's the best game matchup-wise. It should be fantastic with this one.
I mentioned earlier that Nate Ament is number 3 in the KenPom Player of the Year rankings. Phylon, number 4, right next to him. So, you could make an argument right now. Say maybe besides Braden Smith, maybe, but you could make an argument LeBaron Phylon best point guard in the country. There's definitely arguments that probably another guy or two better than him, but from what I've watched, might be the best point guard I've seen so far.
There you go. Our power rankings for this week. As we said, our members now joining in on our rankings as well. And fun time. And you can, remember, do that. I'm going to put the link again in the chat. Become a member here at Southeastern 16. I'm going to pin this to the top of the chat so you guys can hop on in, be an MVP, be a supporter. Again, be a supporter, man. You don't have to go to the MVP, the Legends. You don't have to do any of that. You can just support the channel. $3.99 a month gives you a custom badge, members shout-outs, all that fun stuff. But our MVPs, they get a lot of bonus content, which you'll get that this week here at the channel. We're going to have a live mailbag coming up this week, and we're also going to try to get our first reviews show out there. Sam, it will not be your show. It'll be one that Max and I pick, which will kind of continue to feed into the weekly kind of calendar. But Sam, we will connect with you to do to line it up with you for next week for yours after the busy Thanksgiving. It's one of the busiest weeks of the year for us at Southeastern 16. And, of course, it's Thanksgiving week because you've got Feast Week for basketball. We got a gazillion games in football. Lane Kiffin's going to coach 3 teams by the end of this week. Coaching decisions, all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So, again, make sure you're a member. Sign up. Bonus content coming this week. A lot of new perks. And I will just quickly, if you were not on our previous streams, I'll just throw this up on the screen if you want to have just a nice little idea of what you're working with. You guys can see some of our new membership stuff. Again, MVPs. You get our SEC predictions live for basketball. That starts with conference play. And you get our weekly live Q&A mailbag, vote on power rankings, our exclusive monthly shows, the watch-alongs, our Southeastern 16 reviews, video game streams coming, all that. And then if you're a legend, you can select the topic for the review show. Join us on the show if you wish. And you also are going to get your name in the credits on live shows here very soon. We were trying to get that done today, but I just didn't get the graphic ready. So there you have it. Appreciate you guys. All right. Look who's here.
Oh, hey.
$1.99 super chat. The streak continues. We may have had one earlier. I don't remember. But the streak continues on the super chats. Happy Face Coffee's here. $1.99. Happy morning, gentlemen. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I assume a lot of people traveling, all that this week. We're going to still have a lot of content. We will probably have more content for you this week than any other week, maybe throughout the entire year. So there's a lot going on. So, yeah, check it out. And you may see us on Thanksgiving, to be honest with you. We got Arkansas Duke that night. We'll see how it plays out. But, all right, get your questions, comments, super chats here. A couple minutes on the way out. Yeah, lots of stuff still to come here on the channel this week. Football predictions, basketball predictions, all kinds of stuff.
Great games around the country tonight. St. John's, Iowa State, Kansas, Notre Dame. Houston, new look Syracuse, maybe with J.J. Starling healthy and Carmelo Anthony's kid playing well. It's San Diego State, Michigan. Brian Dutcher against Michigan, the old Dutcher-Michigan connection. It's a really, really fun day of college basketball.
Yep. Really fun day. And as T-Rob says, we'll get that Bama Zags preview coming up shortly. Yep. Don't worry, T-Rob. We did you a favor. You'll see. We did you a big favor in that game. As Sam says, become an MVP or a legend like Sam Smith. And, yeah, we appreciate you guys. The full schedule rundown quickly before we hop off. Tennessee, Rutgers, that's at noon Central today on TNT. In Las Vegas, you've got Mississippi State hosting New Orleans tonight, 6:30 p.m. Central. You've got Auburn and Oregon in Vegas. That's when that one's at around 7 p.m. Central on True TV. You're already getting your True TV fill before March. You got Bama and the Zags tentatively scheduled for 8:30 p.m. Central on TNT. I don't think it's starting at 8:30 Central. I could be wrong on that, but I have a feeling that will start a little bit later. And then the late game in Maui, Texas and Arizona State, which also tentatively scheduled for 10:30 p.m. Central. My guess is that is going well past midnight before that one starts.
They've done a good job with the games this year. They have not been getting stretched out.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what that one looks like, though.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm just used to that Maui game being about the latest game that could ever possibly tip off. So Texas gets that luxury tonight against Arizona State. So there you have it. So, all right, on the way out, a couple chats here. Yeah, Sam says you're not going to want to miss him and Chris Lee if you're a college baseball fan. Sam has selected his topic. We're going to get Chris Lee to approve that topic. And if so, you will get Sam Smith live and in living color, but only if you are a member here at the channel. That will be part of our review show with Sam, Chris, and maybe me, which I know Sam doesn't want, reviewing a certain college baseball game that he would like to talk about from several years ago. So, how many screens we got going? Chris wants to know. To watch all the games.
I will have 2 TVs and a laptop going.
Okay. I will probably a TV, laptop, and maybe phone. I don't like watching on the phone. It's just too small. But it just depends. If it's like kind of a third game you want to just keep somewhat of an eye on, but you don't really want to, can't check in too much. It's number 3 in the rankings. So yeah, I don't know. But all right. Yeah, Brian says I just remembered to hit the like button. Come on, Brian. What are you doing?
Any rock lock tonight, Blake?
Oh, we forgot to make our rock lock picks of the day. Let me just take a quick look here. By the way, to win the Maui Invitational at FanDuel, NC State plus 180, Texas plus 190. I forgot USC is there too. USC versus NC State. A little Will Wade versus Eric Musselman. I think could be the.
Troy?
Say what?
Did you see the USC Troy game?
Oh yeah, I saw the end of that. Yeah, I saw that.
Like, triple overtime.
I think
nuts.
We're rooting for Texas, of course, but I think if you're rooting for prime entertainment, USC versus NC State may be the coaching matchup of the week, in my opinion. But tonight's games, let's see.
Alabama has moved to 4.5. It was 3.5.
Okay, yeah.
Like early morning, it was 3.5. It's now out to 4.5.
Boy, that Auburn, Oregon one's getting a little fishy for me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't either.
Arizona minus 32.5 against Denver. Big fan of Denver, so I don't know if I can root against Denver. I might. I don't know. I'm not going to say it because you know who I'm going to say, and that's not going to be a great idea. So never mind. I'm not making a pick. No rock locks for today. Too many good games here. So
I don't have any absolute rock locks, but I think this is a day of the dogs. I really do. It was just a huge NFL Sunday, huge weekend of college sports, and then this is really the first day of like the casual college basketball fan tuning in. And so you get a ton of public betting on today, and you have a lot of short spreads. Notre Dame only +4 against Kansas, like Notre Dame. St. John's +2.5 against Iowa. Give me St. John's. Oregon +4.5. Alabama +4.5. There's all these games that are basically pick'ems. I like a lot of these underdogs. I don't have anything I love today, but if you are thinking, okay, maybe I just lost $1 or $2 on the NFL, let me try to make some, back with some favorites. Don't love it.
Don't ever pick the Detroit Lions minus 12.5 against the New York Giants because the Giants are going to pull out some kind of BS plays from their playbook that they've never ran the entire season. Jameis Winston's going to look like he's playing at Florida State again, and you're going to lose a lot of money on the Lions. Don't ever do it, folks.
Oh,
anyways,
that's
aside
great.
from that, yeah, head over to our friends at FanDuel. Bet responsibly.
It's a dog
Don't
day.
bet on the Lions.
It's a dog day.
Shout out to Corey, now an MVP here at the channel. Corey's going to get on that bonus content this week. Tremendous stuff from Corey. And yeah, we got to get off here before I get more into the Lions and the Giants.
Well, I could use 60 points from Gibbs every week. I won't. I'll gladly take that.
That's true. You're Jahmyr Gibbs guy in fantasy. All right, we're out of here. Shout out to Justin jumping in to drop an anchor down on the way out. For him, check everything out. Chris is going to be there Thursday as well. So
nice.
The Gators going to be well represented in San Diego this week. And so, yeah, we appreciate you guys. Again, we really do appreciate you jumping into the membership stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. So thanks as always to you. Thanks to our fine sponsors as well. Check out our friends at FanDuel. And, yeah, a lot of stuff on the way here this week. A lot of stuff here this week between football and basketball. So appreciate you guys watching as always. We'll talk to you soon at Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel.